Didn't we just talk about something like this? I swear to God, sometimes I feel like a parrot. But don't worry, Stephen A. Smith. I am not trying to steal your crown as the world's highest paid parrot. There's a huge difference between us, and it's not just a financial difference. Stephen A. Smith is told what to say, and just like a parrot, he regurgitates the script verbatim. When I'm talking about myself personally being a parrot, it's because sometimes I feel like I'm saying the same thing over and over again. Difference being, what I'm saying is based in fact. It's the truth. Stephen A. Smith is parroting propaganda. When did we talk about those gross-looking plebes with purple hair protesting global warming at that Penn football game? Was that yesterday? Oh, I'm sorry. I apologize to all the offendables out there. We are not allowed to call it global warming anymore. The record low temperatures down south last week, that didn't help the theory of global warming. Let's address this issue properly. Climate change. Normal people refer to climate change as the changing of the seasons. We understand that it gets hot during the summer, cold during the winter. But the shit fucks, they have turned climate change into a cause worth fighting for. We must put an end to summer. It gets too damn hot. I have to deal with roid rage for 3 months because the preparation H melts down my leg. Oh, I just hate it. We must fight for environmental justice. Just in case you guys missed the video I'm talking about, over the weekend, lovers of the oak tree interrupted an Ivy League football game to protest the use of fossil fuels. They did so by wearing shoes made from fossil fuels, wearing clothing made from fossil fuels. The same people who constantly complain about CO2 emissions polluted the air in Pennsylvania with 90 minutes of consistent mouth farting. During the video, I talked about the ineffectiveness of modern protest. These kids don't even know what they're fighting for. They get recruited on woke U college campuses. Some veteran shitfuck lures them in with a lifetime pass to the Butt Bongo Festival. And in exchange, they must protest whatever the woke cause is for the week. Apparently, the cause this week is climate change. Yesterday, climate change protesters, they traveled from Pennsylvania to New York City. They used various methods of traveling. The higher-ups in the group, they flew first class on what I'm sure was a climate-friendly jet. The plebes traveled together on the woke bus. Now, this bus does not use gas. Instead, it uses wind power, meaning a 3-hour drive to New York City turned into a 30-hour drive. Now, the handful of protesters who actually believe climate change is real, they traveled to New York on their brooms. They carefully selected the View as the location for this next protest. I mean, it kind of makes sense, right? The Yentas on the View, they love talking about climate change. Sonny Hostin is a fellow believer. The View is also home to one of the biggest violators of CO2 emissions, the Whoopi cushion. Her mouth farts are so powerful, they burn the facial hair off WNBA dump divers. Whoopi Goldberg has actually been banned from the WNBA dump. The last WNBA event she attended ended up going into overtime. Now, as you guys know, when a game goes into overtime in the dump, the winner is decided by counting the facial hairs on the woke welfare recipients. This game had to end in a tie because no one had any facial hair left. Shitfucks, they also selected the View because they knew they were friendly to protesters. During the BLM riots in 2020, Sonny Hostin claimed, "These are not riots, these are peaceful protests. All this talk of violence is being manufactured by Orange Man Bad." Ted Cruz was the guest on The View this morning. I don't understand why anyone with a functioning brain would agree to appear on this garbage, especially if you're a man, or what the Yentas on The View call a male birthing person. Ted Cruz is a smart dude, but you're not going to change any of these people's minds. This show is nothing but clueless woke women teaching other clueless woke women how to get their husband pregnant. They were asking Ted Cruz about the economy. One of the women asked their question. Ted Cruz, he began to respond. The sound of a male voice that didn't sound like Leah Thomas triggered the protesters in the audience. They were offended that The View was asking Ted Cruz about the dying economy when there are more important issues to discuss, like the leaves changing colors on the oak tree because the climate is changing, or the lack of vegetation available in New York City because cow farts destroyed the cucumber crop, or the fact that millions upon millions of homes will be heated this winter, which will create a hole in the ozone layer the size of the gap in Stacey Abrams' facial orifice. The protesters, they decided to voice their frustration. They cranked their gas-powered voice box, emitting their foul CO2 into the air. Watch for yourself.
Well, you know, it's very simple. If you look at inflation, the Nobel laureate economist, Milton Friedman, explained in the United States inflation has one cause and one cause only. Inflation in the United States has one cause and one cause only, and that is when the federal government spends too much money.
Okay.
We have seen trillions and trillions of dollars spent by Joe Biden and the Democrats. Just last year, the federal government took in $4 trillion in tax revenues. The most money in history we've ever taken in. The problem is we spent nearly $7 trillion, and that's what
we do cover climate here, guys. We do cover climate.
Ladies, excuse us. Let us do our job. Let us do our job. We hear what you have to say, but you gotta go.
It is rare that I give credit to Whoopi Goldberg, but I gotta give her credit for shutting this bullshit down. Can you imagine if a group of white men had done this same thing to someone like Joy Reid or Stacey Abrams? Can you imagine what the media reaction would be? This is a case of mythical racism! They are trying to silence a sister! Last I checked, Ted Cruz is a minority. He belongs to what they like to call a marginalized group. Here we have a senator and a marginalized group being silenced by a group of women. But it's strange. I have yet to hear one claim of mythical racism in the media. Anyone who doesn't agree with their narrative, they want them silenced. Just like the protest at Penn over the weekend, this protest on The View was 100% ineffective. This is why I say these shitfucks don't really believe in what they're protesting. If you really believe in your cause, if you really believe you're fighting for something important, you're going to do everything you can to convince people to see things your way. How many people changed their minds about global warming after hearing a group of woke women scream at Ted Cruz? These methods of protesting, they're actually counterintuitive. It completely discredits your cause. Now, what I just showed you, that was just the appetizer. It's now time for the main course because Ted Cruz put on a fucking clinic this morning. Instead of Ted Cruz being the one that was silenced, he had the yentas on The View silenced. What I'm about to show you is a prime example of what happens when shitfucks are confronted with factual information. They can't handle it. Once you steer the topic away from talking points and propaganda, they don't know how to respond. Watch for yourself.
There are a lot of folks in the media that try to, anytime a Republican is in front of a TV camera, try to say the election was fair and square and legitimate. You know who y'all don't do that to? You don't do it to Hillary Clinton, who stood up and said Trump stole the election.
They didn't storm the Capitol. They didn't try to kill my former
Abrams, who said that the election was stolen. They sat here and said it was illegitimate, and you guys were fine with it. Okay, so it's illegitimate when Republicans win, but not when Democrats win.
No, you know, here's the thing. We may not like when Republicans win, but we don't go and we don't storm. We don't try to change the... We'll go to
Did I miss an entire year of Antifa riots where cities across this country were burning and police cars were being firebombed?
I guess you did.
Your position is the left doesn't engage in violence? Really?
No, they wanted to noose our friend Mike Pence. Like, how do we make sense of that?
You just accused us of doing something we didn't do. You said Hillary Clinton didn't say whatever she didn't say. I'm saying to you, listen.
And she said it's sitting here, and you were fine with her saying it was illegitimate for Republicans to win.
She called Donald Trump the next morning, and she conceded the election, Ted.
Okay, took the call.
As did Stacey Abrams.
All right.
She sat there while Donald Trump was getting sworn in.
Hillary Clinton says Trump is an illegitimate president. Hillary Clinton says the election is stolen from you. Hillary Clinton in 2002, George W. Bush was selected, not elected. Joe Biden, Al Gore was elected president. So Joe Biden
Yeah.
claims
You just said
George
we
W.
don't
Bush was
scream at each
illegitimate.
other, right? Or is it just you that gets to scream?
Okay, no, I agree.
Okay, then lower your voice because we are very close to each other.
They tried. Oh, God, they tried. This tactic is taught at Woke U. Take whatever you're doing and accuse your political opponent of doing it. They accuse us of mythical racism when oftentimes they're the biggest violators. They continue using what happened on January 6th to claim normal people are prone to violence. You just saw the whoopee cushion say it. We might not like it when Republicans win, but we don't resort to violence. Are you fucking kidding me? What was that we saw in the streets during the summer of 2020? That didn't look like a butt bongo festival to me. It looked like a riot. When confronted with the facts, the whoopee cushion tried to play dumb. Antifa riot? Antifa riot? What is an Antifa riot? I don't know what that is. That wasn't listed on my script of talking points. What is Antifa? Is that a new medication to cure a roid-raged bongo? Ted Cruz is a better man than me. You saw at the end where that one lady knew she was defeated, so she resorted to trying to emasculate Ted Cruz on national television by telling him to keep his voice down. At that point, I would have lost it. Again, can you imagine for a second what the reaction would have been if Ted Cruz had done the same thing to her? If a man on national TV told a woke woman to keep her voice down, how do you think the media would react? Ted Cruz would have left that studio bruised and battered after being beaten with the mythical misogyny mallet. These people define hypocrisy. The it is on The View. They're all supportive of protesting when the protests are in your neighborhood. When they're burning down your business, they call it peaceful protest. But when the protesters find their way inside the studio at The View, they want that shit shut down immediately. And again, I credit Whoopi Goldberg for shutting it down. But where was that same type of energy when these same protesters were ruining the lives of real people? They're all about accusing normal people of not accepting election results. Then when they lose, these same women on The View will be crying about election fraud. Credit to Ted Cruz for calling them on their bullshit. I didn't really like Ted Cruz during his last presidential run, but I gotta be honest with you, I'm starting to respect the guy more and more. What do you guys think about Ted Cruz? I thought he was brilliant on The View this morning. Give me your thoughts. Sound off in the comments below. Make sure to like and subscribe. Click the notification bell to receive all notifications from the channel. Best way to contact me is by email at btlkc84@gmail.com, KC_BTL84 on Twitter. I'll see you guys tomorrow.